Alright, so I need to retake this video because the last video that I had lying on my bed, it didn't, somehow it came up sideways, and I did not want people looking at a sideways video of my reaction of everything that transpired in this round. But as you can see, it's the beginning of episode 13, it is the final 8, and I am fucking here. So, first things first, we have our tribal council. Eric was voted out pretty much unanimously, with the exception of, obviously, Eric and Abby throwing a vote. I don't know which one voted odd and which one voted for Derby, but regardless, Eric is out. And I really wanted, for my game, Eric would have been much better to keep than odd. But also on the flip side, I felt if I pushed too hard for Eric to stay in this game, then the target could have shifted and I would have been the next person that would have been up to be voted out. So I pretty much had to suck it up and cast the vote for Eric and see what happens. And also, what kind of irritated me was the fact that Abby essentially called me and Derby out as the biggest floaters in this game, based off of what the jury is perceiving. And I'm a bit furious about this because, like, I might not be the flashiest player, but I know what I've accomplished in this game and what I'm able to do, what more I'm able to do with the Agua Caliente idol that I have in my possession. Not to mention that the previous round, which I did tell Abby about, that when Lance was voted out, it was almost certainly going to be Drew, but I actually flipped the script, and I pretty much convinced the majority to go for Lance instead of Drew. And, like, I take 100% credit for that. There was a part of me that wanted to open up about that during that tribal, but on the flip side, I didn't want to, like, rub people the wrong way, and then it turns out that, lo and behold, I get voted out because I got overly cocky, or seen as a bigger target. Like, I pretty much still need to somewhat maintain my naiveness and make it seem like I have no idea what the fuck's going on, when in actuality, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that I'm doing. Not to mention that I already mentioned the idol, but the fact that I have the sheriff's badge, and initially at the beginning of when I first got this, I thought this was going to be a big disadvantage, and I turned it around and utilized it to get on people's good side to emphasize, you just need me for a majority, and you don't have to worry about getting an extra number. I've been utilizing this numbers game to the point to get on people's good side, to be like, if I'm a part of the majority, you don't have to worry about getting the extra number. And I've utilized that as much as possible to get the target off my back. And how much I had to play both sides, play every single person, make it seem like I have their back 100%, when in actuality, I'm pretty much care for my best interests and my best interests only, and I could give a rat's ass about what other people think of me in this game or what I'm out to do to them in this game. So, yeah, it's now final 8, and it's now time to play this fucking game. But going into that, we had to go to a duel. And as expected, me, Kirk, and Rocky were the bottom 3. And we had to battle it out to stay in this game. Thankfully, this was in 2 parts, where one person wins part 1, the other 2 that don't go into part 2. And part 1 is actually trivia. It was literally before or after, and we have to we're given an event that happened in the game, and we had to guess if that happened before or after a certain event. And this is definitely one of those things where I was nervous as hell, because, like, if you don't know for certain what the answer is, it's 50-50 based off of luck. Not even about what you're going to get, but what the other person's going to get. And I just so happened to get lucky by pulling a great lead, and Rocky was getting a lot more incorrect, so the only person I had to worry about was Kirk. And then when it got to, like, the last 4 questions, I was 2 ahead of Kirk, and I was 4 ahead of Rocky. It was almost certain that Rocky had no chance of winning, and it got to the last 2 questions where I had to get both wrong, and he had to get both right in order to get to a tie. But after that 13th question, I got it correct. There's no way to go forward because there's no chance of Kirk or Rocky getting to me, and I won part 1. I didn't even have to worry about going to part 2, which was going to be the endurance challenge, which I like to say that I would have been, like, amazing at an endurance challenge, but with all the pressure mounting, I don't know. So I made it to the final fucking 8 of this game, and hopefully, I'm sure a lot of stuff is going to be going on. I just have to touch base with Derby. Hopefully she'll stay true to what we discussed, and she will give me the idol back that I lent her, because it was just in case I get knocked out. And now with this is... Now, with the final 8, we have to see what this immunity challenge is, and we need to make sure that Carlos and Adam do not win. Because now is the time to strike, and we have to go after them. Even though we have the Outsiders group, I'm still going to make it seem like I'm completely down with wanting to go with them. Like, I'm sure they're thinking about going after me and Derby, and vice versa. And I feel like we have Enid, we have Drew. We don't know if Kirk or Rocky's going to be coming back. I'm kind of hoping it's Kirk a little bit more than Rocky, but I'd be okay with Rocky too. If he comes back, I feel bad for both. This twist just fucking sucks overall. Like, it would have been the worst for me, but I still have a soft spot for Kirk or Rocky being being knocked out of this game because of a fucking challenge. It's not fucking fair. But anyways, like, we have our options, and I feel like with me saving Drew as opposed to saving Lance was definitely the biggest, like, that could be a big make or break decision this round, because after me saving Drew, he's most likely going to be bonding with me and Derby again, as opposed to just deciding to go with Carlos and Adam. And, like, this is now the time to play the fucking game that the jury wants to see played. And, like, I have to go in strong, and I have to go all in many different times. And I do have my idol that I want to save it as much as I can up until the final 6. And of course, this final 6 would be, we are also told that the person that comes back from the edge, it's going to be at 6, and they'll go from 6 to 7. So there's quite a bit to discuss, but now it's just a matter of seeing what's going to happen with the immunity, and hopefully that Carlos and Adam does not win, because we definitely need to flush out that idol, and one of them has to fucking go. So that's where we gotta go with it. So it's fucking game time.